Not a whole lot, you. Voting request and rumors. Yeah, sorry about okay. Everybody hear me good? There. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. If we could all please stand for the pledge of allegiance. All right. Let's look over our last meeting from May. World. And motion to approve the 30 correction of business meeting. On the not just council, just the
John makes the motion, Bobby seconds, all those in favor? All right, before we get started, I would just like to say that we are, obviously, we did not meet last month. We had a very unfortunate death that occurred. I think Cedarville and residents of Cedarville, obviously, Fire Chief Harold Osborne passed of a heart attack suddenly. Obviously, that expected. And then just a few weeks later, so
Pick up a little. We can.
I think the battery died on this thing.
I got more batteries if you need.
It's showing like no battery. Sorry about that. We didn't look down and see the mic had completely died on me, so. Can you guys hear now? Okay. I'll keep paying attention to it. If I see it dies, I'll just shut up for a second and we'll change the batteries. Let's get ready to. It's okay. Did you guys, were you guys able to hear anything that I said? Majority of it? Just. Okay. And then we also, just a few short weeks later, we lost Miss Georgia Douglas. She was a longtime resident here for Cedarville, and so we just want to send prayers out to the families, and that we wish them the best over the next several weeks or even months. So, all right. So, Mr. Wayne, I believe we skipped the roll call, so we'll go ahead and knock that out.
Thank you, Mr. President. Anybody here with a phone call? Start roll call, John Hendricks,
Present.
Don Paul, Bobby Osborne, Town Clerk Wayne Lang. From the last meeting. The June meeting was.
Thank you, Wayne. All right, so obviously tonight we have quite a few people here. I think we kind of know why most of you are here tonight. So we want to start with our town side. And Darren, let's go ahead and get your report first.
All right, good evening. Main Street was closed. The intersection was closed today by the state highway. They are actually going to remove everything tomorrow morning and wait another couple of weeks for Frontier to get it full. So nice headache for today. Patching potholes will continue next week. We're working with homeowners around town and we're doing yards. Have a few more to tag. The guys will start trimming the alleys later this month. We will also trim railroads. We've had several complaints over there, so we can push railroad street back a little bit from the road. Perry Avenue or the duplexes, I'll let people speak for themselves and be people who.
Yeah, so in regards to that intersection, typically at these meetings, we share whatever information we get from the state, which is not always the greatest of information. I had actually talked to them that morning. They told me that they were going to be closing the north side of the highway when the Barricade crews got here. And then in fact, a couple hours later, the Barricade crew shows up and they started closing the south side. So I'm not even 100% sure that the Indiana State Highway knows exactly what is 100% doing. So Yes, that intersection is gonna get redone. But like Jeremy said, they're waiting for Frontier now. So, yeah, it'll be reopened tomorrow. And who knows where it'll be closed. So, all right. So first thing on our agenda is going to be from the area planning department. This is going to be for docket number 55, UZO number 11-26, 9116 East US Highway 40. They are asking to rezone from an RS single to an R2 two-family residential district. Response that I received, the area planning commission had given this a favorable recommendation. The area planning commission staff had given this a favorable recommendation. What I would like to do, if you guys don't mind, is first of all, I'd like to ask, is the petitioner here present for this? What I'd like to start off with is, I'd like to start off with what we do. Because I think that would probably clear up a lot of questions. Obviously, the first questions I had after looking over all the information was that they're asking for two variances. One variance being that they want to not have, they only want to have a 40-foot offset off the highway. But their plans show that it's only going to be 25 feet off the highway. The other variance is that they want to decrease their square footage from 700 to 520 square feet. I looked at the plans for these buildings from a public safety standpoint. I've been in the fire service now for 26 years. These are going to be very, very small apartments, and they're going to be very close together. I am not a huge fan when it comes to rental properties when it's a location like this that has been selected. I think that they are extremely too close together. I think that them asking for the two variances that they're asking for just completely disregards the reason that we have ordinances in place to prevent things like this from happening. And I think the other big thing that from an elected official standpoint is I'm going to give all you guys a chance to speak, obviously. But I love the fact that we received this. I don't know who this came from, but this was an official petition that was brought here to the town hall. There are 10 signatures on the back of this. And myself being elected, and I think about the 10 people that signed this, and the majority of you that are sitting in this room, that are from here in Cedarville. We are elected to speak on your guys' behalf when you can't be there, and we are elected to speak on your behalf when you can be there, and you tell us what you want or don't want. When I took this job on, very simply put, I swore an oath to the Constitution, and I swore an oath to you that we would do what was best for the community based on the information we got back from the community. With that being said, I am not in favor of this. So again, we'll give everybody a chance to speak, but I wanted you guys to know where I stood and give the board a chance to tell you where they stand, and then we'll hear from you guys and see where everybody else stands and make a decision from there.
Favor, just for the sake of rather that we become on fire.
Whenever I first looked into information at the area planning
Buildings look like little bitty garages. You know, they're gonna be small. Take it, for example, that this piece of paper right here is one of their duplexes that they're gonna build in there. Split it down the middle. And that's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have 4 of these. They want to build 4 of these down on South 18 right on the corner. And they're gonna split these things right down the middle. And it looks like you may have room from here to this young man right here on in each apartment. And that is no way to live, I feel. And there, like I said, there's gonna be 4 of them down through there. And parking is gonna be totally messed up. I'm not sure how they won't do the parking or anything like that. I think it's just gonna be a lot of congestion. Corner. And being so close together, I think it will be a fire hazard. Yeah, 16 parking spaces. And I just don't, I totally agree with it. I voted no as the area planning commission. I was the only one that voted no, but they still passed it. But that's all I have to say about it.
I kind of think that it's too close together to the side.
So at this time, we will open the floor for public comment in regards to the district zoning request. Anybody has anything?
Oh,
Would like to say?
I live on that road. My name's Tim Bell. Our family has 5 residences on that road. And the problem I have with it is the 16 parking spots backing out onto the road. That would be like coming around this corner here and people that are at that gas station backing out on the road, right when you turn off. Because that's the only way they can put it. They have to back out. And also on it, if you guys do turn it in, now that doesn't mean they can't build. They'll just build a home there.
Right.
Which I think most of the people want anyway. Because when my friend used to live in that house and it burned down, then they put a trailer. And everybody's just so against that trailer. And that was before ordinances came out to not put a trailer. So it's not really stopping them to build. It's just changing the plans, putting that in there instead.
I would agree completely with you on that. I just, again, there are a place for people need to be able to rent. Not everybody can afford to buy, and that is completely understandable. But there is a place, I think, for rentals to be, and there are not so good places for rentals to be. And that's the reason that there are ordinances in places to make sure that duplexes and things like this that are going to be turned into rentals aren't put in the wrong location. And I think if they pick a better place for them, with adequate spacing, again, restricting that from 700 square feet to 520 square feet. I just, from a fire department standpoint, I see nothing but issues that they're going to have. You're going to have 1 or 2 people that could potentially live in that residence that size, but good and well that they will have more that will try to live in that small space. And I just don't see it being good for Cityville. I don't see it being good for the residents that have to live close to that. So, yes, ma'am.
Go down there and they do stay there all the way through. There's the fence there, that's. So I mean, horrible section there. because there's so much congestion already. Plus you have the alley coming out, you gotta slow down just to make sure somebody's not falling out. The alley. It's a bad thing. Like you said, maybe a home, like we don't put in paper, that I think that, but you know, well, it's all the parts, all the parts.
And we'll make it very clear, like I say, right now it is zoned for, a single family residential, so they could build a home there and they don't have to ask for our approval. They don't have to ask for area planning's approval. But I don't think, again, like the other gentleman said, there used to be a home there before. And I think that probably the majority of residents, would probably be okay with there being that. So it's not what they're wanting to do. It's gonna work out very well. There was another.
I don't know.
The one, I mean, they're seeing new homes. Standards, all is ground, rental property, which they're nice homes and everything, but my husband and I have been there for 33 years. You know, this is our home. My mother-in-law was there before us. We have worked hard to make it a nice home. And then all this rental property comes in, and it's gonna, destroy our property value. And that's all bothers me. They're wanting to grab all the land. I've got a neighbor on the south side of me. This home is barely standing. It should be probably into it. But I can see them coming, swimming in, it's still basically still in the property time and doing the same, doing the stop it too.
Right.
That's my concern. All rental property wasn't going to be my property, but we've already got on Baker Street, we've already got 3 apartment buildings and maybe 3 rental homes. So.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
What point do you guys have?
Well, because it's in the Cedarville city limits, even though area planning gives it a favorable recommendation, if we do not, they can't move forward. Yes, ma'am.
I just, not everyone will always agree, but I was glad that you saw the petition, not everybody was following around that signatures that in there. And I just want to say thank you for taking the bus. It won't always be that way, but I had grandkids and I just feel like that was just too much traffic and two both together. And I was just making the point that I had just got shed, that I like to decorate for all the seasons. And it's 575 square feet, and can you imagine living in it, and like you said, other people, and I've only been in Cedarville since 2001, but it's in the home, and I chose the area because it was single family. You know what I mean? If I wanted to live in an apartment or rent something there, I would be somewhere else. But communities and everything, and I'm glad you guys are listening.
Yes, sir.
Got the property across west. The other thing is, if they put that many parking spots in there, drainage for it. And I think you're doing right, because you let something like that go, then they down the ramp on, and they lock the times up. That'd be what they would want. They use an example of an apartment down the street, it was all off-street parking, so they wouldn't be backing out into the road.
Right. I drove by that lot several times, when I've been out patrolling, and I just I can't wrap my head around there being 4 duplexes there. I just can't. I just, I'm sure that if they want to get them in there, they can get them in there, but I, I just don't see that being I just don't see that being a great way to live, and I don't see it being a great thing for the neighborhood to have to see that every day and deal with that every day. Correct.
Somebody, school and what to do, two things. It's a kind of-
Correct.
Well, it's a wall. Well, the parking, just for the apartments are low. The apartment sits in the apartment, I don't know how. But, yeah, companies, where they don't park.
Right.
And you road. It's kind of a bad library, you do it, you look at the you look at the active, you look at that, now.
Right.
It's, everything.
Absolutely. That's what I say. I just think, again, looking over the information they sent, getting this petition, was really fantastic. A lot of times we have to sit up here and the three of us have to make a lot of these decisions, just based on our views, because we don't get a whole lot of people to show up. Yes, ma'am. Right.
No, I.
We all have the same opinion as you guys later.
So, but like I say again, we still want to give everybody a chance to say their piece. Obviously, this is recorded, so I think, this goes a long way. Obviously, area planning, they're going to have another meeting. Okay, so they have to, area planning has their first initial meeting, and they may give it a favorable recommendation, but obviously, when we vote, they're going to get all that information from us that we voted. I can't say until we officially vote. But they're going to get that information from us, and their vote may completely change. Now, again, it's not going to matter, because if we shoot it down, it is inside the corporate city limits of Cedarville. So if we shoot it down, they can't move forward. So unless they want to change something and try to bring it up again. So. Anybody else have anything before we move on to voting on the petition? Voting on the, rezoning request? Oh, the Baker Street project. I believe the other day I got was August. August.
Substantial completion, 9/1/5.
So. All right. So in reference to rezoning 9116 East US Highway 40 in Terre Haute from RS single family to an R2 two family residential district. Going full. Yeah.
Bobby Osborne.
Okay.
I will be nay as well. Yeah. Good night. Have anything? I'm sorry. So you sneak in. Marshall Taylor.
June was a slow month. I was off. I got married, so I was off about 2.5 weeks. And then same time, the barn decided to resign, retire. So, thank
I was on vacation.
Yep, you're on vacation, so. We had a little slow month, so we only had 11 calls for service, but reasonably so. Bring our total year for service, the call for service for year to date, 609. We had one assistance call out of town. We had one incident report, one arrest, a couple citations, a couple warnings. We had a vehicle impounded. Vehicle mileage is below for all 3 vehicles. The new Durango we have is good. Very minor things that we've had to fix in-house, but nothing crazy. So I'm in that, and everything's going good on that. Current process for 2 open positions. So instead of having a full-time position that Debbie Barnes was doing, they'll split that into 2 part-time positions. So be anywhere from 16 to 24 hours, depending on the applicants that we get. I have the process closing on the 17th. I have currently 3 applicants. 40 applicants, they're all academy graduates, so there will be no training really required other than talent orientation. So it should be pretty quick turnaround once we figure out who we select, who we interview, everything like that. The only other thing that I don't have on the paper is we talk about the office system, the AC unit and the HVAC system. I know we had a little work done, but that office gets pretty hot on hot days. And I think just because of the HVAC problems wasn't made for that area. And I know I talked with Jeremy a little bit about it whenever we first brought it up. I talked to John about it. See what are some options are I offer to try to get a standalone extending portable AC unit. John mentioned something about a split unit, I believe is what he called it. So I'm not familiar with HVAC yet. Yeah. So I'm all over. Like I said, it gets pretty cozy in there. So anything in the front office, you walk into our office, probably like 10 degrees hotter compared. So there's no fault of anybody. It's just the HVAC system.
Well, I know when we did the upgrades on that system, we did those with the intention that we weren't sure whether it was either going to work out or it wasn't going to work out. And I know we brought up the mini split idea before. That would be my suggestion, would be a mini split. I hate to see us spend a bunch of money to, I mean, unless we feel that that furnace is due and we want to put that kind of effort and money into changing that HVAC system out. I think a mini split would just solve the problem for that area. It would be by itself. And we could do the work ourselves. No, I wouldn't want to. After hours, and they're very simple. So,
and for the cost wise, I looked in Menards, they're ranging anywhere from 600 to about 1,000. I think we still have, right around $350 to $400 in rebates from when we built the office. That could offset a lot of the costs as well.
to go that route. I know the big thing we'll have to look at is we can look at that breaker box in there. We looked at it one time before. It was pretty close to being loaded. So those units are.
I initially just looked at like getting a little standalone, little portable one that you can just kind of hook up. I didn't want to get a window unit by no means, but one of those ones where you still put the vent out the window, a little bit cheaper option for a smaller space, but I'm open. Just flip. So It should be 10 degrees, cooler in there. I'd rather be cold than hot, let's be honest, because people are so layered up, but.
So I
summertime.
block the line between
Hey, you vote for it, I'll deal with it.
I just put an 18 BTU in my garage. You can get them to where they're 240 volt, but they only take a 15-inch double breaker. You can run them on 14.2 watts.
Is that the main split?
Yeah. So don't have to worry about the load. We'll work on and do it to where you can get them down to. And eats. Well, I went to Amazon. And I looked at it.
Yeah, that's okay with, as long as we can, as long as we make sure that the breaker box is good enough for that, and we'll get any split in that area. Are you having issues with your office as well?
You're used to it or do you have problems?
We're gonna-
Two different questions.
This is the same problem that came up when you asked me to do the as well. Okay, give us a straight answer.
I do that.
Yes, sir.
How often are you guys in that office?
We work.
This depends. I mean, it really just depends. I can't give you a time limit. I'm in there a little bit more because of admin and stuff, but it just depends. And once we hire now up to potentially 4 guys, there'll be more people in there than there is right now, according to this me and John. So,
So are you gonna have that air conditioning running?
no, I mean, I'd like to set it to this, I set it to the same as what the building is. I think they have the front office at 75.
Yeah.
I know that. I mean, is that something that can be set? Certain temperature all the time or? How long do you want to
I don't think, like I said, I don't think, I'm not an HVAC guy for a lot of these questions. Like I said, when it comes to the kind of the ideal temperature, just matching to what the building is. I think they have the front office set at 75 pretty much all year round. I mean, I try to match what the building is to kind of keep it out of the even flow.
Base. Look at the, what funding would be open?
I look at this public safety, I have $6,700 in public safety, as long as that after to date. And then also, like I said, I have rebates from whenever we built the office almost a year ago now, and I those are still valid. And I think anywhere from 350 to 400, they're hanging up on my board. They've been sitting there. We just haven't had anything to use them for. So, like I said, the ones at Menards, we went through Menards. I did the price anywhere from 600 to 1,200. Just depends what you can get and how big you get it. So. Appreciate it.
And I,
Items where our food check the breaker box should be.
guilty walking to the room. Whenever I worked it. Thank you, sir. The dorm meeting either. Hotter inside the dorm.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, we're not bad working to do. I don't want to make it sound like that at all, but it's been super back. And I mean, you can definitely tell when on the hot days and then we're load bearing out, and we had a training in there and you have 5 to 6 people in there. It gets warm. It gets warm. We have 2 fans.
Anything else for any other public comment for? Yes, sir.
We wait the water rate,
Mhm.
and I brought up that a bond had come due and you didn't see a decrease, and you said when you guys are looking into it. Have you looked into it anymore to lower our sewer rate?
I don't think, I didn't look into it yet. I'm trying to think it's that. Give me a chance to look at that. Okay, I apologize, but I will look into it, I promise you. Yes, ma'am.
It's got the problem with the state. Way back there. Braces up for my face, because my face is different. I tried to take care of it. I tried to do it by 2 years ago. It's hard for me. I just had it still. I mean, I can't do everything. And their safety is building. I didn't complete. It's going to be there.
Good.
So I'm happy to walk. I totally.
Look like an officer or on the subject line. It's the homeowner responsibility, I think, force them to do anything. I mean, I don't have anything that I can go against them and tell them to have to go like. I can probably hand it, you probably, I'm not gonna do it.
Right, I talked to the father, because he actually kept me on all of that, in the meeting and stuff, because the weeds were completely down on the fence, there were snakes coming over. We did cut down all that. Which came back,
Do you have a contact number for anybody can? Or did it around the account? I will keep my eyes out and try and catch him. I will keep my eyes out and try and catch him.
Thank you. Anybody else for town? Yes.
Got people here, I live up on North Baker. That's across the street. There's a kind of. The way you push on the contract with the. With something.
Okay, sure. Yep. Once they're completely done, I'll like it repaid, but yeah, we'll get some rock back in. Yes, sir.
This Iron Farm property.
Mhm.
I think they're the same people that bought the land over in Ontario, on Paper Town. Is that correct?
I think so, yes.
It's one of the families, one of the LLCs, yes.
Okay. Now, I called somebody and they said that they're going to bring the water off Paper Town. Is that correct? The
Yes.
water and sewer off Paper Town?
That's where they bring it in, yes.
Okay, so is there, I live on Perry Avenue.
Mhm.
Okay, is anything going to be happening for Perry Avenue to accommodate that subdivision or whatever we want to call
What do you mean by accommodating?
it? Okay, is there any talk about extending Perry Avenue?
No,
Talk,
not at this point. So there was, this is what we knew. There was original talk that if they could purchase that, there's approximately, give or take, 10 acres in between the field and Terry Avenue, that they cannot purchase. The only way that they could make that road potentially go through is if they could get that property. As I am aware, they are not willing to sell that property. So they cannot bring Terry Avenue through.
okay, so Perry Avenue staying as Perry Avenue, we're not talking about widening or pulling through.
Nope.
Okay.
Not at this point. So now,
Oh.
if that property, or for some reason they were able to sell that property, then there may be, we may start having talks about that. At this point, they're not willing to sell that property, so then.
Because we could go through that property.
Right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anything else for town? Before we move on to utility? Motion to close the utility, or I'm sorry, motion to close the town meeting and move on to utility. Oh, I'm sorry. Utility meeting minutes. You guys have had a chance to look over the utility meeting minutes. Okay. Bob makes the, Don makes the decision. Bob seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Jeremy?
Several new meter calls have been completed, contractors are coming hopefully this week, the next week, so our effective in the last winter. This is an insurance fund that will be in our pocket. The CCR is out and available on the website, probably also available in office. We will do it on our project issues. After the water utility, we have a lot of this water company.
Gary? I remember you.
June, the plant produced 22,189,700 gallons, with the max day being the 17th. 500 gallons. Minimum day was between the 18th, 509,376 gallons. And the daily average for the month was 739,657 gallons.
When we look back at previous years, I mean, obviously, I know we ag customers, so it's a stupid question to say, oh, we're using more water, but like, how much more? I mean, are we seeing a huge increase in usage or?
You're not really, because I mean, you're seeing what's the average on 3,000 gallons or so. So when we're running 500 to 700,000 on average a day, not really, you're not seeing a big jump. Now overall, if I went back and said, check your, like the data, like before I started, we probably will see an increase, but not.
Water, the Wileys are continuing to make progress on Baker Street. The substantial completion date is 8/1 and final completion is 9/1.
Figure out, right? But
Yes, we made the decision while you were gone. We're gonna save a little bit of money, we're gonna spend a little bit of money. While we get some of these, but we're going to go.
And then I know, just because we have a lot of you here today that live in that area. So I know we talked to the new contractor. It was brought to my attention by the contractor that obviously off the edge of the roadway where it's dirt right now. Some people have ran off, and they make a big rut in that dirt. So the contractor is supposed to be going around to the homes where that has been open trenched where it's dirt. And we're essentially given the option of whether you want that to be gravelled in front of your house or you want it to be seeded and soil. So, yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you want.
Yep. And we will open. But I just thought it was a good time. You guys are all here. We bring that up and let you guys know that we're kind of just giving you guys that option of whether you want that to be rock or you want it to be back to grass. So originally he was going to put everything in rock just because everybody kept driving off on the edge and it was just dragging mud and dirt and stuff everywhere. But you know, obviously some people like their extra yard, so we wanted to get us that option. Just keep in mind if that's a decision that that's going to be kind of left up to those property owners in that area where that's been affected. Think about it. Call up here to the office, give Jeremy your address, and let him know what you want so we can get that information to contact him. Okay. Nothing going on with the park.
No, I got a slow in the back to try to get the drainage and start testing for a pond, but I hope that
Any public comment for water, sewer, storm sewer, or the park? Yes.
I'm just looking at the appropriation report.
Huh?
And maybe, okay, and I'm looking at category 1 under sewer. It's right under Fund 6201. Looks like, if I read this correctly, we're paying salaries of 60,000. But our health insurance is 30,000. Am I using this wrong or am I just not looking at it properly? Because that seems like a heck of a. I'm on page 8 if that helps.
Yes. Budget amounts. Okay. I don't know if you heard what Wayne had said, so Wayne was just telling me those are the budgeted amounts. So that's not actually what we pay, that's just what we have budgeted to pay up to.
So. And then, so I can look at the expenditure year to date, without the correct line. Most of the. So, we're 15,000 over 45,000. Is that, I mean, is that a good? I don't know. I don't have to worry about health insurance or something tired now.
Right.
But it seems like, that seems like a third of the paying for health insurance. Is that normal? I don't know.
How rate is it?
Probably pretty close. Okay.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind, so our employees, we don't just have a single employee that works for sewer or a single employee that works for water. Our employees work sewer, storm, water, town. So when we look at their salaries and we look at insurance and everything, it actually gets pulled from each one of those facilities across the board. Right.
You want sewer and we have to budget for that to have those hours. Sure. And then we may work some other time, a whole lot for the water, but we have to have the money there to pay them
salary and insurance out of the 500 hours. Does that make sense? We can't predict what's gonna break.
Okay, fine.
Does that make more sense?
Fine. And then you can't say that. But I just, so what was getting, like when I used to work, I worked in the hospital and, the hospital paid so much and we paid so much. So we know, hospital, we know how much the workers are paying for their insurance.
So I believe.
Yeah, we're long.
It's $5.
It's $5.
$5
$5 per year.
Oh, okay. Now I understand why this is like this. Okay, this is picking up almost everything. This is why I want to do it.
Their insurance is the main incentive for.
Well, I'll that.
I'm just gonna be honest, if you look at the other towns, our wages. So we don't have the fund, if that makes sense.
Anything else on utility? So we got something utility.
Okay.
Don makes a motion, Bobby seconds, all those in favor? Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys all for coming. Appreciate it.